right, guys. Well, welcome. My name is Jim Eaton. I'm the Associate Director of Admissions here at Siena College, and join with me is...
I'm Megan. I am the Assistant Director of Admissions at Siena, and I'm also a proud alum. I graduated in 2017 and loved it so much I just had to come back and work there.
And we're going to talk to you guys a little bit about the essay tonight. You will see, for those of you guys who are new to this, a chat button where you can send us a question at any point during the presentation. We'll do our best to answer every question that comes in. And obviously, if we see a couple that are similar, we'll definitely stop the presentation. So please feel free to send us a question whenever you are ready, okay? So we thought we'd start this off with a little true and false, just to kind of get a little interaction going. So our first question, and we want you to kind of type your answer, whether or not you think it's true or false, in the chat button, okay? The first one is, it's okay to personalize your essay to a specific college. True or false?
Getting a ton of trues. Yep, it's majority true. Couple falses, but majority true.
So we would go with true. However, if you are doing that, make sure, especially if you're using the Common application, that you have a second set of eyes looking those essays as you're sending them out, because you don't want to do one essay specific to one college and then zip it off to multiple colleges, okay? I'll let Megan give you a second true false here.
Okay, true or false? Your college essay should not include any humor at all. Okay, majority false.
Yeah, looks
what
like
I like to
everybody's going
hear.
false.
Yeah, so for that, it's nice to see your personality come through your essays. We're reading so many and reading a lot of transcripts, so getting to know you a little bit more through your essay is always nice for us.
I like what Pearl said, show your personality. Absolutely, that's
Yes.
100% correct. We want to know who you are. All right, one more true or false before we hop into the presentation here. The most challenging part of the application process is the essay. True or false?
Getting kind of a mix, lots of true. Yeah, now a lot are coming in, some saying depend. Ish was an answer.
We would go with true. You're basically starting with a blank sheet of paper and you're trying to figure out, okay, what does this college want to know about me? And that's part of what we will talk about here tonight in the presentation. So just give me 1 second here. I'm going to share my screen. As Megan and I mentioned earlier, feel free to send us any questions throughout the presentation in the chat button, and we'll be happy to answer those. Just give me 1 second. We'll get started here. All right. So why write an essay? Why do colleges make you write an essay? Well, there's various reasons why you might need to write an essay. But one of the main things that the essay can do is it can allow you to really speak directly to the admissions officer like myself or Megan. It's really the only part of the application where you can have your voice shine through and tell us about who you are, what you've done. A good essay really is an essay that is about you. And we'll talk about how to think of coming up with a specific topic and how you can try to figure that out as we get going in this presentation. You really want to narrow that topic down to something that's specific about you. And I'll throw out a couple ways that you can figure out some ideas. The first is you can really talk about to your friends and family about who are you? What differentiates you? What makes you unique to them? Okay? Narrow that topic down to a specific experience, a hobby, or something that you really think is personal that tells us who you are. Now, sometimes I hear students feel like, I need to talk about a major achievement in my life. Well, let's be honest. You're 16, 17, 18 years of age. A lot of times you haven't had a major achievement in your life, and that's okay. We really want to get a chance to know who you are, what makes you unique. Now, as this slide, it should be personal. It should be something that you're passionate about. You should feature your unique voice and your observations. We're going to do a little bit of an activity here just to kind of get your mind thinking about the essay and possibly some topics for those of you who don't have a topic.
So
Get
we
a
do
piece of
have a
paper.
raised hand. Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay.
We do have a raised hand from Lisa.
Sure.
So Lisa, do you want to ask your question? You can either turn your screen on or ask it in the chat if you'd like.
Are you there, Lisa?
Okay. If you
All
think
right.
of it again, you can just raise your hand again.
Sure. So we're going to have you take out a piece of paper and a pen if you have it available, or this will also be recorded so you can always refer back to it. This is a little fun essay activity to help you kind of think a little bit about yourself and what you might want to write about when you are applying to those colleges. You're going to make two columns. In the left-hand column, you're going to talk about what your future aspirations are. Some of you might not know what you want to major in college, and that's okay. Some of you think you might know what you want to do, and some of you are pretty definite. That's what we would call your future aspiration. On the right-hand column, make a list of what are you currently involved in. Are you involved in a club or organization in your high school? Do you have an internship in your community? Do you have a job? Are you an athlete? Do you play a sport? Are you in theater? What are your interests? From those two columns, you can draw a line to connect each. For instance, if you're thinking about going into the medical field and you currently volunteer at a healthcare facility, that might be a good connection to make and where you would make a line drawing from one to the other. Now, is there a story that you can tell through this? Sometimes it's the lines that don't connect to each other. Are there stories that can be told from that? So think about what you're interested in doing for a future, and often that can be a pretty interesting essay. We love to know, and I know Megan will probably agree, when we see an application for Siena and we see that you're interested in applying to a certain career field or major, what was it about that major that got you interested? What is it that you think you might want to do with that as a career? Now, when you are writing the essay, a couple other tips we want to just pass along is obviously you want to be accurate, you want to be honest, and you want to be concise. What do you guys think the word max is on the Common App essay? For those of you who are using the Common App, how many words can you do on that essay before you reach the maximum?
So we're getting a lot of 650, 500, 750, 650, 650, 650, 400. So overall 650, I think, is the answer.
Yeah, 650 words is the correct answer. So we often get the question if even if you're not using the Common App, of how long should my essay be? Well, when you hit that 650 word limit, that's your answer. But typically double spaced, it's probably a little bit more than a page and a half, 2 pages possibly. Um, when you are applying to colleges, take a look at what are the requirements. Some colleges do require additional writing samples if you're applying for like our honors program or a admissions program that would be a little bit more demanding to get into, a little bit more selective. Uh, so you want to talk to those colleges and make sure that you are working on those essay topics that are needed for that. All right. What kind of questions can we answer for you guys regarding the essay topic?
So we have one that's a little bit more broad than that, but it says, quick question, what makes Siena different than other colleges?
Oh, well, that's a question I love, and they kind of turned the essay around on us, Megan.
Yeah, I know.
We love it. So I'll give my answer, then I'll let Megan give her answer. I've been at the college. This is my 21st year at Siena. And I think what I really enjoy is just the personal relationships and the community aspect on campus. I love walking across campus. People know who I am. I know who they are. It's a caring community. We are Franciscan. So for those of you not familiar with St. Francis of Assisi, he was basically the founder of the Franciscans. And on our campus, you'll see little things like people holding the doors open for each other. We do a lot of community service. We believe in taking the skills and the talents that you obtain in the classroom and putting them to use in the real world, whether it be in our backyard of Albany or students who do service trips abroad. So I think those are kind of some of the things that are unique to Siena from my perspective.
So it's such a hard question for me to answer as an alum, because to me there were so many things that just made it my favorite place in the world. But kind of going off of what Jim said, the community there is something that just can't be matched, in my opinion. Um, I remember when I was in high school looking at colleges, my teachers were telling me that your professors would not care about you. They wouldn't care if you go to class. They wouldn't care if you hand in your homework assignment. And that was the complete opposite at Siena. Every professor I had um, wanted to make sure that I was in class doing the work. If you didn't go to class and you didn't email your professor that you weren't going to be in, you better believe that you were getting an email and a text asking where you were, making sure you're okay. So that community feel, and also just knowing that everybody wants you to do your best, is something that I think is very unique and special to Siena. And we have a ton of more questions, so let me try to catch up really quick and see what we can answer here. And I hope that answered your question. Okay. Is it bad to write about a sports injury and how it affected you?
Zach, I would say no, especially if you're interested in going into some sort of medical field. That would make sense, but I don't think so because that's a big part of your life, I'm guessing. So if it's something that impacted you academically, of course, we'd want to know about that. Because when we are looking at applications, we are looking for students who we think are going to be successful here. We want you, Zach, to be the next student who comes to Siena, graduates in 4 years, is successful, and all of a sudden we have the Bass Residence Hall standing on campus 20 years from now, right? No, if that's something that's personal to you, we would definitely want to hear about it.
Next question. When does your essay have to be done by? So the deadline for early action is October 15th. So typically when you send in your application, I would imagine your essay would be done too. So October 15th for early action.
Kathy asks, is there something you suggest that we should avoid talking about? That's a tough question. I can imagine we're going to have quite a few applications this year that have essays talking about how the coronavirus impacted them. Now, I'm not saying to avoid that as a topic, but let's be honest, we're all humans. And when you start reading an essay that's on a similar topic time and time again, it really doesn't give us a story about you. Your essay should really tell us what your application to the college doesn't. So whatever information you think we need to know to make an admissions decision to hopefully admit you to Siena is what we would like to see in that essay. That's not already on your application. It's not already on your high school transcript.
So Nicole asks, do we choose our essay topic or does it depend on the college? So, oh, go ahead, Jim.
I was going to say, at Siena, you can choose your topic. Some schools might be specific. If you are applying to some programs like our nursing program, our Albany Medical College program, you will be given a specific topic. But for general admission to the school, you can choose your topic.
And what makes a student stand out in their personal essay? That's a good question. So, I think really it's just when you're being authentic is going to make you stand out the most. If you're trying to be someone you're not in your essay, as long as you're genuine and authentic, that's going to come through. Also, you can tell when an essay has been edited by a parent or a teacher. So just being authentic and true to yourself and writing about a topic that's important to you is, I think, the best way to stand out.
And Megan hit on a good point there about proofreading. That's obviously something that you want to do. I kind of use the line over the years jokingly that if you are going to personalize to a specific college, make sure that you get the right essay going to the right college. You wouldn't believe how many times over the years I've read essays that says, I really want to go to Marist College, yet they sent it to us at Siena. That obviously doesn't look good for the student and not something that you want to do either.
Can the topic be unrelated to your major? Of course, it definitely can.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't always have to write an essay about why I want to go study this career or this major. We want to know about you. We want to know what your interests are, what you do outside the classroom, what makes you unique. For those of you that missed the beginning, a good way to get to this is go talk to your family and friends. Ask them, hey, what are my quirks? Who am I? What's unique to me? That's what the college wants to know. We want to get to know you. And I'll be honest, the reason why we do is because we want to make sure that when we hopefully admit you to Siena, we can find your little niche on our campus. Let's say you're interested in Irish step dancing. Well, we're going to connect you to the Irish step dance team at Siena College, assuming we still have one. But we'll try to find, what you want to do. We want to make sure that we have some sort of outlet on Siena for you here, so you can continue to explore that passion.
Okay, so we have a lot of questions, so I'm going to try to get to as many as we can.
Yeah.
I was interested in the nursing program, and I know that there's an essay needed in order to get in. Do I need an additional essay? You need an essay for the nursing program. So if you just want to send in that one, you don't have to send in the one for Siena College, but if you want to send in two, you can. That's personal preference, but you do need one for the nursing. That is one of the programs that does require an essay for Siena. Okay.
Excuse me.
The topic that we feel is redundant or tired of reading in an essay, I would say I'm guaranteeing you we're going to get a lot of coronavirus essays this year. I haven't read one yet, but I have a feeling that that's going to be very common. So that might be something to avoid unless it really truly had a drastic impact on your life.
Excuse me. Can I ask some questions?
Sure.
Actually, I am not comfortable with typing a lot of questions. So actually, I have a very vast portfolio of activities, and they belong to different subjects like business studies and computer sciences, engineering, etc. So if I am applying into the major of computer sciences, right, in bachelor's of computer sciences, so am I gonna mention the activities specific to computer sciences or my entire activities?
I would say you would want to mention everything you're involved in. However, if there's one that you have a leadership role or you're really passionate about, focus on that activity. On your application, you do have a way where you can list a certain number of activities that you've been involved in. So if it's already on the application, there's no sense in being redundant on the essay. But if there's one that really stands out, you have a leadership role that you feel really devoted towards, I would really focus on that one for your essay, especially since you only have 650 words to talk about it.
Okay. And other than that, actually, I haven't done any kind of internships, and I am in my senior year of high school. But instead of internships, I have my own private limited company business, and also it is a registered business. So is university gonna accept it?
Yeah, I mean, if you have your own business as a senior in high school, I certainly didn't do that. So that's a great topic to talk about, and that's something to be very proud of too.
And how am I gonna prove it like that I am the actual chief executive officer of that business to the university?
Well, if you have a website or some way that you can reference to it, that might be a good way. But we're under the impression that students, when they submit essays and stuff, it is a legal document. So we believe that what you're writing is true, and if it's not, then that's something that we would have to deal with down the road as well.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. I did see a quick question about the SAT, not being able to take the SAT yet. Good news for you guys, we are test optional this year. We do not require the SAT or the ACT to be admitted to Siena College. So everybody take a deep sigh of relief and go, no SAT or ACT needed this year at Siena.
Okay, where did it go? I saw a good question asking what are our favorite essays to read. I really like, I mean, I enjoy all. I think any story that really shaped you, or if you have a good funny story. I like wit in an essay. Something that's, I don't know, just it's really nice when we're reading and getting to know you more than just your transcript. So anything that is personal to you and you're passionate about, the passion really comes through, and I personally love that. Jimmy
So
might have
my favorite essays are the ones where you read it, you put it down, you walk away, and you say, "Wow, how did that student do that?" Or "I can't believe that that situation happened to that student." Now, not everybody has a wow moment, but when you read something that you know is a wow, those are the ones to me that really stand out um, when reading an essay. And keep in mind, Megan and myself and my colleagues, there's 10, 11 of us, we're reading about 10,000 applications every year over 6, 7 months or so. So we read a lot of essays. So it's great when you can have that one where you say is a wow.
Okay. Um, so someone asked, how should we wrap the essay up? Meaning, what should we do for the outro? So that's a good question.
That is a good question. I guess it depends on the topic that you're talking.
Yeah.
I mean, some people might not have an outro, might not have a conclusion to their essay because what you're talking about in an essay, there might be a continuation when you get to Siena or in college. If there is a conclusion, if there is a final piece of what the story is, obviously that should be the ending. But it's also not uncommon if that essay is kind of to be continued at Siena. And you can find a clever way to say that, I think, in the end of the essay.
And I think the best way to start writing your essay is just start typing or writing, however you want to do it, without even thinking. Don't care about grammar or spelling, and just blurt out all of your thoughts on a page and then go back and edit it. And your conclusion might just come naturally that way. And you can do that with a couple different versions. There's no stopping how many versions you can do, but just make sure you really go back and edit that then, because there might be typos.
I see a question here talking about their experience as a competitive dancer and being part of the dance team and how they've helped encourage teammates. They also want to major in education. They've also been involved in Girl Scouts. So what I would say is there anything that you did as a competitive dancer and part of that dance team? And is there anything that you did in Girl Scouts that was similar? Is there any sort of skill set that you've obtained from those two activities that are similar? If not, that's okay. But if there is, great. And if they are, will they help you as a teacher down the road? So what comes to my mind is obviously you're helping people as a Girl Scout, you're helping people as a teammate on the dance team, and as an educator, you're going to be assisting people in the classroom. So that's kind of a way that you can tie those three activities together. So Kaylee, I expect to see your essay on that topic. No, just kidding.
We have a question from Jordan. How should we start the essay? Hook, question, statistics? I've seen all of those. I think, again, it's hard to say just in general, because it really does depend on the topic you're writing about. What do you think is the best to that will be your answer. A question is great. A hook is good. I love hooks. I mean, that's going to get me excited to read the whole essay. Statistics I've seen too. And some people just go right ahead and start their essay. So it's everyone's style based on their story is different. So there's not like a real right answer for that, in my opinion, at least. And that's the thing. We all have different opinions. These are all personal stories, and you have different people reading your essays too. So Jim might have a completely different opinion on that.
No, I mean, I don't disagree with you, Megan, on that topic. I guess what you said, I would agree with. I see a question here about the early application essay is optional. Should we still write an essay and submit it to Siena College? Yes, we are essay optional. However, the more information that we have and that often that comes from the essay when we're reading it, the more likely we are to kind of connect you to what you might find of interest at Siena. And we love to know more about our students and who are applying and why they're applying to Siena. Are you applying because you got a free application, or are you seriously interested in the college? And what are your interests? So I would always encourage a student to submit an essay, even though it is.
Okay. Can my essay be about a struggle that happened during elementary school? Of course. I think that's a great thing to talk about, especially if it's something that helped you grow and overcome an obstacle. Those are great essays to read.
I saw somebody asked about writing about their community they came from, how it shaped them as a person. Is this something colleges want to hear about? Absolutely. I mean, if that shaped who you are and how you act and what your daily habits are, we want to know about that. Absolutely.
So someone asked, and it's not really essay related, but isn't it frowned upon to not submit SAT scores? Nope.
Not this year.
No, especially not this year.
Yeah, now we understand, and I'm sure there's a lot of you in the audience here who had an issue with trying to take the exam. That's why the college moved to being test optional this year. Now, if you are able to take the exam and you scored well on your SAT, you should submit those scores to the colleges because it might help you with your merit scholarship money. But if you never took the exam, or if you struggled on the exam, you need to worry about submitting those scores. How do we talk about potentially controversial topics in an essay, or should we not address these topics? Thanks. That's a good question. I guess what the controversial topic is. Let's be honest, politics are a hot button these days. I would stay away from that type of topic because you never know who the reader is on the other side of that essay. If this controversial topic is something that that might be of interest of us, but you don't want to send something that's going to make you look bad in the long run, basically, is what we're getting at. So controversial topics probably might want to be avoided for the most part.
Okay, here's one from Megan. Love the name. I am a twin, and I was going to write about how that connection has affected my life and changed me and made me who I am. I was wondering if that was a good idea of how I would. Yeah, I love that idea. I think really just in general, if for anyone who has something that happened to them that affected their life, that's a perfect topic, and don't overthink it. Just go with it. I think that's another thing. Not everyone, but a lot of students overthink what they're going to write and make it out to be this big mountain when really you had a topic from the beginning and you can just run with it.
I see. Does these tips apply for college essays in general? For the most part, yes. I think everything that we're sharing. Somebody asked about the amount of paragraphs matter. No, it doesn't matter. Once again, we got that 650 word count limit. Seems to be a lot of concerns about the closure, wrapping up the essay. The end of the essay, as we mentioned earlier, it may not have necessarily an ending. It might be to be continued at that college. But if it's something that had a direct impact on your life, that's a good way to kind of wrap up that topic, is just to say, because of this, now I am doing X, Y, and Z.
So here's a good question. Can I write a casual essay? I feel as if colleges could get a better sense of who I am if it's more on the casual side. So yes, but I think also make sure you realize that this is your college application. So I wouldn't put swear words in it. Just think about how casual you really want to go. But at the end of the day, we do want to get to know you and who you are. So I get stories a lot, and a lot of times stories can be a little bit more casual. So I mean, I've read casual ones, and I've read some that are too casual. So just be careful with it, I think.
Yeah, just keep in mind that what you submit to the college is basically representing you on paper. So when we go to review that application, we look at everything. We look at, has a student visited campus? Have we had interactions with the student? What does their high school transcript look like? What kind of classes have they taken? How have they done class rank wise if the high school does that? And then of course the essay. And the essay really is your chance to market yourself to the college and showcase your talents and who you are. And you should basically make that college want to bring you into their community by that essay. I see a question about mental health issues. Um, will colleges get scared away? We won't. I've read quite a few of those over the years. Sometimes the essay can tell the story that we can't see on the transcript. If you had mental health issues, concussions, some sort of injuries that might have impacted your academics, that might be a good way to tell us about how it impacted you in the classroom through your essay. But we wouldn't get scared away by anyone talking about their mental health issues. What we would do at Siena is we would want to make sure that we could provide with the necessary support you need to be successful in the classroom here.
And I think also a really good topic, if you're not sure of what to write, if there's something that happened during high school that impacted your grades, there's an essay topic right there. And if you don't want that to be your essay topic, definitely interview to explain that, because if you don't explain that, we won't know, and we'll just see these poor grades next to some really good grades sometimes. So making sure that you're advocating for yourself is super important.
Question about when regular applications are due. Typically, our last deadline will be February 1st. The sooner you apply to Siena, the sooner you'll get a decision back. We try to give decisions back for regular admissions within 7 to 10 business days once we have everything that we need. Question about supplementary essays. Those are basically additional essays. So you might send one for regular admission, and then a supplementary essay would be one for a specific program that might require it. Each college can be different, so just make sure you're kind of keeping track of what each college needs from you, especially if you're applying to a more selective college or a more selective program at that college.
I got a message from a private message saying I'm passionate about skincare. So am I. I would love to read an essay about that. Seriously, the things you're passionate about, that's a perfect thing to write about. Because like I've said, oh, and I'm going to keep repeating myself, but that gets us to know you a little bit better. That helps us get to know you a little bit better.
If a college allows you to attach a resume, how many pages should it be and what should be included? If you don't have a resume when you go to college, it's not the end of the world, but it's great to start one in high school because trust me, when you get to college, you never know who you're going to meet, and they're going to ask for that resume, and you're going to have to turn it around within a few minutes to get that internship or opportunity at that company that you wanted. So it's a good thing to start a resume. Typically one page. I can't imagine as a high school student that you need to have a resume longer than a page. But I would say a page, try to limit that resume too. And you can simply email it to us at admissions@siena.edu, and we're more than happy to read that and include it in your file.
Got another question on how long the essay should be. 650 words is the limit. Typically, it's a page, page and a half.
I see a question. We're not involved in athletic or activities outside of school. Would it affect our chances of getting into Siena? My first question is, well, what are you doing outside of school? Because the last few students I've talked to that said this, one student actually worked on his family's farm, and he was getting up at like 4:30 in the morning to take care of the animals before he went to school. So I always like to walk through your day and see what you're doing. We basically looking for students who are going to get involved in our classroom, or I'm sorry, in our community, and give back in a way. So that's what we're looking for. It doesn't necessarily have to be a sport. It doesn't have to be an extracurricular activity in the high school. SAT is optional for the Albany Med program as well. Yes. your question, what if academics is the only thing you were involved in? Well, that's fine. I hope you're doing well academically if that's your sole focus and concentration. But that's okay. It's not a big deal if you're not involved in other things.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi. I was wondering about, so how should we structure the essay exactly?
Regarding, like,
Regarding like certain topics.
okay, do you have a topic of interest right now?
I want to go into marine biology,
Okay.
but I also like to play tennis and be with different animals, and then
Okay.
just other basic activities. And would I
Well,
put that into certain segments, or how would I structure that?
yeah, I mean, what I would start is, okay, this is kind of what I'm thinking about for a future career, and these are the activities. I don't know if you were here during the earlier part of the presentation, but these are the activities I've been involved in. And if you can draw a direct line from something you're doing now to your future aspiration, that can almost lead the structure of your essay. So here's what I'm involved in now, and this is how it's helped me. This is what I've gotten out of this, and this is going to help me become a successful marine biologist. Does that kind of answer your question and help you?
Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah, no problem. Best of luck to you, Morgan. Yes, we do read all those essays. Let's see.
Yes, we do. I got a question that I've been to more than 4 high schools. Would the essay be a good place to explain why my transcript is so insane? Yeah, that's a great place. There is also a section in the Common App for additional information. So if you have something like that and your essay is about something completely different, you can add a little blurb in there.
Should our essay be
Excuse me.
about past experiences, or should we talk about something we want to achieve in the future? It can be both. It can be if there's something you've done in the past that's really defines who you are or impacted your life and really kind of gave you a sense of what you want to do in the future, you might be able to connect them that way as well. Sounds like we had a question there.
Excuse me.
Yes,
Well, actually I have a question. That
sure.
should we mention our community services work experience or the training programs we have taken in the personal statement, or should we mention the experiences related to the subjects only?
Not sure I understood what you were saying there. I'm sorry.
Well, actually, I am saying that should we mention the community services experience, work
Community
experience,
service?
and yeah, and trainings we have taken in the personal statement?
Yeah, community service is great to include in your essay, especially if you're applying to a school like Siena that really values that. So if you get a sense of what the college is all about and what's important to the student body, like community services here at Siena, it's never a bad thing to include that in your essay because that's going to show us that you would be a good fit for our community.
So Jocelyn asked, does the same essay structure apply for the nursing program essay? So the nursing program does have its own specific prompt, pretty much why you want to be a nurse. So it kind of does limit you to more about what you'll talk about. So there's typically a story of why someone wants to be a nurse. So you would just write about that.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question about that specifically.
Okay.
Sure.
So I want to apply to the nursing program as well. Is it acceptable to send in our like regular Common App personal essay and then the additional nursing essay?
Yeah.
Would both be read?
Sorry, I didn't hear the last part.
Would both be read and
Yes.
evaluated?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm one of the admissions
Thank
counselors
you.
that helps with that, and we definitely read both. So
Perfect. Thank you.
you're welcome.
You're welcome. I have a question here. I wasn't involved in activities and leadership positions much during high school that can have a big effect on our chances of getting into a college. It's not going to impact you drastically. What's going to be the biggest impact on getting into a college is going to be your transcript, the classes you've taken, how well you prepared yourself for a college. We really like to see students who challenge themselves in high school. We like to see 4 years of English, 4 years of science, 4 years math, 4 years social studies, and 3 years of a foreign language generally. Now that's a generally. Obviously, if you're going in some programs versus others, it might change a little bit as far as the curriculum goes. If you have any specific individual questions, obviously we're happy to answer those. Or you can give us a call tomorrow or email us. We're happy to also take a look at your transcripts as well. We will when we review the admissions process, but that's really the biggest impact on the admissions process is the high school transcript.
Could I ask a question?
Yeah.
So I kind of have two, one of them specific to nursing, but for like overall the essay, how do you, if you talk about like a specific prompt, how do you like also try and incorporate how you're talking about yourself?
So give me an example there.
So I'm doing on the Common App essay, there's like, the Common App, there's like prompts, and one of the prompts that I chose to write about was like a setback or failure and how I learned from it. But I also didn't know how to get across talking about like how my personality is or something.
Well, I think with that, a setback kind of shapes who you are and how your personality handled that setback. So just saying how you got through it is showing different personality traits that you have. So you could incorporate it that way. Does that help?
Yeah, thank you. And then I had another question.
Mhm.
For the nursing program, is the specific essay for the nursing program just for Siena or other colleges as well?
Just for Siena.
Okay, thank you.
You might be able to use it for other colleges because it's kind of a generic question. It's something along the lines of why did you want to pursue nursing? But yeah, safely we can say just for Siena, but you might be able to find other programs that have a similar request.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi guys, I had a question about the personal Common App essay.
Sure.
So is it better to tie, like at the end, is it better to tie in our whole idea to like our major or like what we want to pursue in college, or is it better to just leave it and like finish it off without really looking forward into the future?
I think that's personal preference. I think however you want to end that essay and whichever you feel is more powerful is the way to go about it. Because this whole essay is personal. It's a personal essay. So, and this isn't just for you, but this is for all of you. This is your time to, like I keep saying, help us get to know you. So if you think you want to tie it into your major, go ahead and tie it into your major. But if you want to leave it into how you want to be after you graduate college, go ahead and do that. Or if you want to end it right now and how it is, and like Jim said earlier, to be continued, go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, it's your story, and your story might not be fully told yet, and that's okay.
Okay, let's see what other questions we are getting.
What grade year do colleges look at most? I'll tell you, we always look at what you've done most recently as the most important thing. So sometimes when students apply senior year, we may ask to see your first quarter grades or your mid-year grades to see how you're progressing. If you're somebody that's kind of on the borderline of being admitted, but we always look at what you've done most recently. Let's say you go to a school, don't like it, you want to transfer to Siena. We're going to look at the school that you're at currently, most importantly, when you transfer to Siena as well.
Question, if you don't get into the direct med program, does that mean you don't get into the school and thus not being able to go into a pre-med track? If you don't get into the Albany Med program, you can still get into Siena as a biology major and go pre-med the traditional route. What if my achievements don't really match the major that I want to pursue? That's okay. College is the time to figure out what your major is. And sometimes high schools don't necessarily offer things similar to your major. So not every high school is going to have a computer science club, for example.
If we don't want to pay for extra essay help, who should we reach out to have them read our essays and give us professional feedback? The two people that come to my mind would be your English teacher and your high school counselor, guidance counselor. Those are two people that I would reach out to and ask for feedback. Obviously, they're going to be busy, so you can't expect them to give you feedback immediately. But those are people I would start with. Potentially your parents at home might be somebody as well that you could get some feedback from as well.
Or even if you just have a friend who's really good in English, in their English class, ask them to read it first, and then you could bring it to an English teacher. But I was going to say English teacher and guidance counselor would be my recommendations too. Okay.
There's a lot of questions here. I'm sure I'm
Yes.
pretty here.
I know, I feel bad. We're probably missing some.
If we want to go into engineering, can we write an essay about that, or should we let our transcript activities speak about that? Well, I would say no matter what major you're applying to, if you have experiences that help lead you to an interest in that major, that would be a good essay topic. If it's something that's already on your transcript, already on the application, you don't need to use the essay to kind of regurgitate that because we're going to see it already. So keep that in mind. The essay should be something additional that'll help give us an idea of who you are.
Oh, hello. I want to ask you something.
Sure.
Like, when can I start to applying for the college? Though, like in fall, September, or I can start it right now.
Yeah.
You can
the
get off.
application process is open right now.
Yeah, I was going to say you can hang up and start your application right now if you wanted.
Because like I don't have the transcript with me right now, and the other thing that maybe my high school counselor, they have it. So is it okay to apply now? Yeah.
Yep.
So I can. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
A lot of times we do get the application weeks before we see the transcript. So once your application you feel is ready, go ahead and send that in. And just make sure you are in touch with your guidance counselor about getting the transcript and their recommendation in. Because they're very busy this time of year. So also you want to make sure you give them enough time to get it together and send it to us.
All right, Megan, I'm getting the heads up. We got time here for one more question.
Okay.
Somebody have a verbal question that they're dying to know right now.
If we plan to like double major or whatever, is there like a second essay that we need to do, or is there like just the one essay?
No, we only require the one essay unless your double major includes one of our more selective programs that has a specific essay question. And in that case, you really only have to submit that essay for the college. So we wouldn't need more than one essay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I know we have a lot of questions here in the chat we didn't get to, so don't be surprised if you guys get an email from us in the next week or so with an answer to one of those questions. Megan and I thank you for hanging out with us tonight. We hope this was helpful for you. I know I saw a couple names of students who've been on campus, which is great. For those of you guys who haven't been on campus, we are open every day between now and Thanksgiving for tours. Give you a good opportunity to see the place and get a sense of what Siena is all about. All right. So with that being said, we're going to wave. Everybody wave.
If you want to turn on your cameras and wave. So we
turn on your cameras and wave, and thank you very much. And hopefully we'll see you again down the road. Okay, guys?
Thank you for this.
You're welcome.
Thank you so
Everyone
much.
have a good night.
Thank you for
welcome.
having me. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for doing this.
This
You're
is a
welcome.
big help.
Thank you. Thank you.